Hey Geek Freaks, welcome to another episode of the Geek Freaks podcast. I'm Frank, and today we've got a lot of awesome stuff to talk about. Jonathan's fresh off his trip from GalaxyCon, and they had an incredible celebrity encounter we're excited to share with you. We're also diving into Marvel's 85th anniversary, going over our top 5 MCU moments. Make sure you share yours on our social media. We're going to be chatting about Ryan Reynolds teasing Gambit and breaking down that Sonic 3 trailer, yes, with Keanu Reeves as Shadow. Plus, we've got updates on Pacific Rim, Jurassic World, and much more. So stick around, grab a snack, and let's go. You went to GalaxyCon last week, and GalaxyCon is coming to San Jose. San Jose is kind of a booming city here in California. What was that like?
Oh, that was a lot of fun. Any convention is fun. Even the small little local conventions, it's just fun to go out and see. A lot of times I just go to look for the vendors and the artists that are there is some of my favorite part, to see the just such unique, creative artwork these people make, because they're all geeks like us. So
yeah,
it's almost always, fan art. Star Wars, we had tons of Star Wars cosplay, and people who built droids and stuff like that were there. Just such good cosplay. They had a really good cosplay contest, and a whole floor that was all D&D and tabletop gaming. It was a lot of fun.
This is the biggest one you've been to, right? Convention wise?
I would say it was about the same as the Star Trek one we went to, but it's probably bigger than that too.
San Jose, again, they're really pushing to try to become the new spot. Ever since WonderCon moved down to Anaheim from San Francisco, there's been this vacuum for Northern California. And so we have Fan Expo coming here. They're going to be in November. And then we have GalaxyCon trying to move in for San Jose. So we're the winners out of all that, of course. It means all these big conventions coming to our house. We're not hating that. Exactly. Did you had a chance to meet a celebrity, right? One of our favorites?
Oh, Mr. Robert Picardo. Oh, yeah. I was so nervous too. I would walk by his table. Me and my wife and our son were kind of looking around. My wife's like, "Hey, you should go say hi, and maybe we get a picture, an autograph or something." And I was like, "No, we don't want to bother him." And I just keep walking. And then she's like, "He's not busy. He's just hanging out." And like, no, I don't know what to say. So she had to push me. Eventually, we went over and talked to him for a minute and got a picture, an autograph, and everything. But I was just so embarrassed. So like, I don't know. I was such a fanboy. I didn't know what to say. But
it's hard.
I did ask him. I did ask him about the new series that he's going to be in, called Starfleet Academy. And he was in a panel where he mentioned it, but he said, I can't say much of anything about it. My main question is, are you in a lot of episodes? I want to know that you're like a main character. I would love that. Like if you're in at least half of the show, not just a cameo for 2 episodes and then you're gone. He says, I can't say much about it, but I did read the script and I really liked it. So that was all we were able to get out of Robert Picardo.
I trust him.
I'm excited for it.
All right, guys. So yeah, GalaxyCon, we're going to try to go next year as a podcast. And that's pretty cool that you got to go and check it out, though. I'm glad that San Jose
they mentioned they did secure the contract for 3 years. So we know for sure we got 2 more years of that GalaxyCon in San Jose. So if you guys are in the area, check it out. It's just going to grow every year, I imagine.
Our question for the week, guys, we asked this over on Threads. We had 338 votes, and it was so close. I was surprised how close it was. Jonathan, recently, this week, Mr. Ryan Reynolds, thank you so much for your support, Ryan Reynolds, on doing this. He posted a picture or a little video of Gambit at the end, what kind of got removed. It was in a small panel on the TVA, but at the end of Deadpool and Wolverine, he looks over his shoulder and sees the swirl, the Marvel's Doctor Strange swirl in his eye, showing that he's joining wherever they're going. So I think this shows that Channing Tatum, according to Ryan Reynolds, he's not Kevin Feige, is part of the MCU too. How do you want him to join? Would you want him to be in a standalone movie or get a Disney Plus series?
So we've talked about this before, but when you have that kind of enthusiasm and dedication from an actor, don't waste it. That's so valuable. And that makes such a great, performance and character and bond with the community. And it's just
marketing's way easier. Think of how Deadpool's been going. Yeah.
So what I would like to have seen before this last movie, before his appearance in Wolverine and Deadpool, a standalone movie that kind of tells his story, kind of build up who he is, like we've seen in the past before the MCU got so big. And with the MCU as big as it is, now you can introduce characters in these Avenger-like movies, these mashup movies. The next step is now we have an idea. We know his name. The public, the non-geeks have heard of him. They see his costume and think it's kind of funny looking, his, outfit.
Yeah.
So I think the next thing we need is a standalone prequel movie that kind of explains his backstory and gives us a reason to care about him and fall in love with that funny accent that people are probably making fun of. And then put him in a more serious movie that's not the prequel style, continue on with the MCU.
I really like that idea. Yeah. Something that leads to the X-Men movie. I would like to get a prequel TV series, Disney Plus series, but yeah, prequel as well, because Gambit has this wonderful backstory about being a thief, and his relationship with Storm is one of my favorite parts of the X-Men backstories. And so I really would like to explore that out. And then I think obviously you have to tone down his accent. They were doing it for laughs in this, but tone it down a little bit, and maybe tone down his costume a little bit, because that coat is incredible. The headpiece could probably be changed or removed. Yeah. You don't necessarily need that, but his fighting style was so damn cool in Deadpool and Wolverine. And I think him developing that and trying out all the new stuff. I mean, this is the year of Gambit. We have X-Men 97 that was so good. There's a new comic book that's got a lot of Gambit in it. So it's the time to pull the trigger on that. I think that we really need to see.
Yeah, he's always been a cool character and a fan favorite character, I think. Kind of underutilized by Fox. So I think it's great that Disney has it. They have their eyes on him. They have an actor. It sounds like they have everything they need to really run with him and build this character to what the fans want to see. I want it.
Overall, on our threads, the vote was 57% wants a standalone movie, 43% wants a Disney Plus series. It was very close. There was a lot of discussion. Most people just wanting both. Can't argue with that.
My only issue with the Disney Plus series is they haven't been knocking it out of the park with the other series they've had so far.
True. Yes.
I can't think of one that has been a major success that I can't wait to see, like I would a movie they made in theater.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the news. John, we got a new Sonic 3 trailer. Are you caught up on the Sonic movies?
So, no, I definitely watched Sonic 1. I haven't watched Sonic 2. I know last time we talked about it, that was
I
the same
watched it
case.
since the last time we talked about it, yeah.
Okay, and I was like, don't worry, my son's going to love it. We'll watch it together. Yeah. I still haven't, but I'm definitely going to watch it with him before 3 comes out so we can go watch it in theaters together. 3, though, the trailer looks so good.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Robotnik. I love Jim Carrey. Them, showing his Robotnik changing, getting, fat and everything is hilarious. And then he meets his dad again. And it's like
grandfather.
Jim Carrey can play anybody. He's just such a good actor, such a good character. Yeah. He's a lot of fun. So,
what I love is it feels like they're just going for it. They're not trying to make this realistic. No, it's freaking Sonic. I mean, just go for it,
Yeah.
I think they were kind of gun shy in the first one when we saw that old Sonic, the original design, and how awful it was. It was like they're trying to make a realistic Sonic. And then after the fan outcry, they're like, no, just do video game stuff.
Yeah. I wonder, though, if that was like a publicity stunt. Was that just a fake? Because everybody talked about it. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe how terrible it is. And then it's like, oh, well, they listened to the fans. They made a better version. That's so much better. I got to go see it. And all the hype around the movie because this missed fail or whatever.
On our podcast, I remember very well saying, hey, guys, they changed it for you. You have to go watch it now. That's kind of the deal. And I mean, I almost hope it was. I hope they come out and say, guys, guess what? We fooled you guys. It was never going to be. Because that is some good viral marketing 101 right there.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
It worked well. It does look good. So my reaction to Keanu Reeves as Shadow, though, because I love Shadow, and I think Shadow's original voice actor from Sonic Adventures 2 is so good. Keanu Reeves just sounds so Keanu Reeves. And it's hard to kind of believe that he's Shadow. Not that I don't love Reeves.
But do you not think Reeves could play a live action Shadow?
Yes, of course he can.
Exactly. Maybe he doesn't sound like the same voice we're used to. None of them do, but I think he's a pretty good fit for it. And I like to see Keanu Reeves stepping into this kind of new version of himself because we've seen him change over the years. And I'm hoping that, he kind of wants to go more towards children's movies or these fun family-friendly movies.
Yeah, I'm waiting for his MCU announcement at some point. Like, God, please play something cool in the MCU.
Yeah.
And supposedly he's working on a new Constantine, which is one of my favorite movies of his that does not get the recognition it deserves.
Yep.
Pacific Rim is doing a prequel series. Now, Pacific Rim, I remember when that came out, man, it was like out of nowhere. Do you remember how that this is a robot movie coming out. Guillermo del Toro, wow, I'm surprised he's in it. Oh, Charlie from Always Sunny's in there. It was very so damn good.
And a fully stacked, it had a good cast and good budget because it came out so crisp, so clean. It was, out of the park, but then it didn't seem like they really promoted it much. We didn't know about it until I think it was in theaters when it's like, oh, hey, this is a new movie in theaters. Check it out. And the world building they did, they really prepared themselves to make so much more. Yeah. So I am stoked to see it.
The story for that movie is serviceable, as in I don't need a complicated story, but you gave me just enough to be super invested. The way they added just a little bit of lore, you need 2 people to connect. This one obviously could do it by himself because he's kind of a little special. That's just enough lore for me to want to dig in more. It reminds you when you're watching Lord of the Rings and you don't know anything about Lord of the Rings, but then you notice Legolas isn't sinking into the snow. So you're like, wait, why don't elves do that? And then you start kind of creeping into more and more of that lore. Into that for this. I'm like, wait, why do they have to do this? So do you think we needed a prequel series for this?
I think it's the best way to continue. If you were to make another sequel and just continue where you left off, it's going to run out of steam. But now is the time, traditionally where you would jump back and show a prequel series and explain, or a prequel movie and explain, the origins of these creatures. Cause they really didn't explain that at all. It's just that aliens came out of the ocean and they didn't need to, cause they did it so good, jumping into the battle. Like, hey, you guys already know what happened. We're in the middle of a war with these creatures. It's just, it's been established. Let's move forward. I think there's so much. You can make many seasons of a prequel series just building up to create the world that they start, because they started it with so much already developed, so much established, and time lapsed through a lot of
without digging into it either. They showed everything, but they didn't dig into it, so you could dig into it here.
Yeah.
And I think there's something with Pacific Rim came out, and then the Godzilla movies started shifting towards Pacific Rim, the American Godzilla movies, correction there. Where they were just like, hey, let's just see robots fight or whatever. Like, it was just like, let's punch things.
Yeah.
So maybe this could kind of lean into Godzilla -1 and show the impact of these more on the humans that are being, killed.
This definitely has that, like you're saying, just enough depth to make you ask the questions, and then that satisfaction when you get the little bit of answers that you're looking for.
Yeah. All right, let's go to other big dinosaurs. We have Jurassic World. We have a new title for this brand new movie coming up called Jurassic World Rebirth. We have some pretty good stars for this. We got Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey. Now, okay, this is kind of a tough situation, right? Because every Jurassic anything is living under the shadow of one of the perfect movies from the 90s, Jurassic Park. What are we going to get out of this? What do we need to get out of this for this to be on par with Jurassic Park?
That's a hard one to hit. And honestly, I think in another 5 or 10 years, they'll be ready to just full on remake the original story completely from the beginning. Yeah, obviously not yet. There's still more they're trying to milk out of it. But this story is a little bit different than what we've seen, because it is, in this one, now these guys have to go get DNA samples, right, from 3 different super dinosaurs that survived. Most of the dinosaurs didn't survive after a certain amount of time on our world. So there's this special kind of hunt challenge that they have to get, one from land, one from sea, one from sky, of specific species. I think it'll be a little more like a Fast and the Furious, Mission Impossible kind of an action and less adventure.
Right.
I don't know.
I can see that.
I don't think it's going to be so much about the dinosaurs. It's going to be about this challenge they have.
What I'm hearing first off, Scarlett Johansson's a good sign for the budget of this, right? But
that's true. Yeah, and
Mahershala Ali, hopefully our future Blade if that ever happens.
Yeah.
But I will say, I actually kind of think this might be a smaller story, and which is what I think we need for Jurassic Park going forward. So Jurassic Park itself had quite a few dinosaur varieties, but I mean, for the most part, you're like T-Rex, Velociraptors. I remember that's when kids started learning how to say Velociraptors, but then you got Jurassic World, and it was such a plethora of dinosaur that it was kind of like, I'm not attached to any of these. Oh, the T-Rex is back. Oh, it's a good guy now. Yeah. This looks like we're going to learn about 3 dinosaurs, essentially, because a lot of them were taken out. And it's a small adventure inside a Jurassic World, and not like a world-changing event.
You know what I think I would like more than another movie that was a series? If they were to make a series that was the dinosaurs came, the land was, not friendly for them, like the military fought them and killed as much as they could or as much as they needed to, but there's still remnants in small towns and stuff like that. And we learned, for the most part, how to work with, or some of us, how to work with some of the dinosaurs. So we're using, the Triceratops and certain ones to help us with some things. So you kind of see this world where it's a little bit of a mashup, but occasionally there is the dangerous ones still in the forest, and we have to protect ourselves from them. Kids are going missing out of this town. Come to find out there is a loose raptor in the forest nearby. And, we got to catch it, or, bring in another dinosaur that will help protect us or something like that. I could see a good series built off of that. But
they hinted at that with God, what's his name? Chris Pratt training Blue. Was like, oh, okay, there's this. And then Dinotopia, Flintstones, there's definitely a cool area to explore. But if you had like hunting dinos that would help with the military, maybe something like that, which I think was, a concept for the first movie, was actually like, that's why that Newman was trying to steal the DNA, was for a military group. And so there's definitely something there too. The first images look good. We don't see any CGI from the dinos. That's kind of what everybody's waiting for. And hey, if you guys limit the CGI, it'll last a lot longer. Jurassic Park looks really good still, except for the moments where they're in CGI. Understandably, the thing came out in '93, but it's still such an iconic. I feel bad for movie makers nowadays because our generation is so nostalgic that yeah, you can release something and make money off of it like a Jurassic movie, but we hold it all to that standard. You can't just remake something for the sake of remaking it. No, it has to be as good as that. And it's like, we can't. You were kids. You fell in love. You know?
Yeah, exactly. The movie may not be better, but the myth is so much better. The myth we remember of it.
That's a great way to put it. Oh, man. Next on the list, Barry Coogan is joining the cast of Netflix's Peaky Blinders movie. Peaky Blinders is such a damn good franchise.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
I watched the first season. I didn't finish the series. I know that wasn't there like 4 seasons of it?
Yeah, there's like 6 or 7. Yeah.
Oh Jesus, yeah. I'm so far behind. It was good though. It's the kind of show I can't really watch with the family.
It was my treadmill show, so that's why I watched it like avidly, because it was like the only thing keeping me focused from not dying. But I've rewatched it since then a few times. But yeah, I mean, Tommy, played by Cillian Murphy's coming back, of course, and he's such an iconic actor. Does such a wonderful job. Barry Coogan, who plays, I think he's Scottish. I don't want to be offensive. I think he's Scottish. I think he's going to be a very good character to add into this, and he's got the acting chops to play as the villain. So I'm hoping that what we'll have is we have Cillian Murphy, Rebecca Ferguson on the good side, and then we'll have Barry Coogan come in as like the upstart gangster that is very much Tommy, in his younger days, kind of coming back to be the new thug in town, because season 1 was Tommy young, the Shelbys young, fighting their way to power. It'd be cool if like now he's the guy that they were fighting in the first season. We have World War II happening like right about now, and we got, Barry was in Dunkirk, a World War II movie, so that could be there too. It would be interesting to see what happens with that.
Do you know when's that supposed to be coming out? Or is that
they're beginning filming the end of this year, so it'll be a bit, but it'll be on Netflix. It'll be a reason to watch Netflix, which I don't have a lot of those nowadays.
Yeah, I keep rewatching Seinfeld.
Is that what I haven't been on Netflix in so long, man. Struggling to find anything good on there. Gamescom had a bunch of stuff announced at Gamescom. We took it last week off, so that's why we're a little bit late on this Gamescom stuff, but let's go over the highlights real fast, y'all. Then looking through everything, the only thing that I think is really super notable is Borderlands 4 got announced, which is, it's a great franchise, but I think the timing was a little bit off on that because Borderlands 3 was great, but then the Borderlands movie was such a flop. And then 2 weeks later on, you guys announced a new game. When they announced it, the crowd was like definitely quiet. I mean, there was like a couple of smattering of claps, but that was it.
So this timing would have worked great if the movie was a smash hit.
Yes.
And that's what they were probably banking on. Yeah. So now they have to suffer the consequences of not doing well in the movie.
Yeah, I'm hearing industry insiders saying like Lionsgate might close their doors because of how bad that movie was.
I know. It's crazy. Jesus. But these smaller studios, it doesn't take a lot, right? I mean, they don't have the billions of dollars that Disney has.
No padding. Yeah.
So one real bad, because you have to swing with all you have to compete against these bigger studios, and they put all their money into something that is just a little misdirected, and they could lose their whole nest egg.
Yeah,
it's a shame.
We also have Mafia is coming out with a new. They had the trilogy. This is another one that's going to be called The Old Country. It's taking you back to Italy. This is a very story-driven GTA-like game. They're always impeccable games. They're never a miss. Even the third one, which people are like, oh, it's the worst one. It's like, yeah, but it's also like one of the game of the years. So it's not terrible. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Big announcement here. And it's something for Xbox. A bit of a signal for Xbox. So it's coming out on Xbox and PC on December 9th. And then it's releasing on PlayStation 5 in 2025. So this is a Xbox-owned game, right? Because Bethesda's developing this. Do you think this is a good strategy for Xbox?
I think it sounds like they're trying to find ways to continue to make money to keep profitable by being able to do that. So it might sell some systems and subscriptions early on, but then after it kind of slows down a little bit, okay, we'll let the other guys make some money on it too, and we'll get a cut obviously off of those sales.
It's also a second wave. Like you get the hype from the first release, and then ideally if the reviews are good, you don't want to do it if the reviews are bad, but you never know. Starfield wouldn't have done too well with this. But then, you get that second wave of release money coming in. this is kind of showing back to PlayStation strategy of where they're like, hey, you know, our most iconic games like God of War and stuff, let's release it on PC now. And suddenly it's some of the the PC's best-selling games on Steam.
Yeah.
We're not selling them on PlayStation anymore. Everybody who owns a PlayStation owns the game. Let's just get some more money in. And I think that might be what they're doing here too. And it helps probably pad Game Pass and things like that too.
Honestly, I think it's better for us as the consumer because PlayStation players, get access to Xbox games. And if they promote in it, don't just promote the name of the game. Either do like the Tom Clancy games where they have his name in it, or whatever it is to kind of, if they really like that game, they're going to look for more of that game. Then they're going to be going back to the Xbox and trying to find, hey, I want more of the Mafia franchise. Then they're going to go buy specifically Xbox games. That would be beneficial for Microsoft to kind of lure some of the PlayStation customers over.
Sid Meier's Civilization 7 showed a lot of gameplay. This game, if anybody's played it before, is so complex and so detailed, and I freaking love it. So we're going to have a dedicated segment for it when it gets closer. The game's coming out February 11th, 2025. We'll bring Scott on because me and Scott really put 12 hours at a time in this game. That's how long it takes to play one match. So it's crazy. But it's so fantastic. So we'll get into that later on. And then lastly, Jonathan, Marvel Rivals has a release date now. With December 6th, they also announced The Winter Soldier and Captain America. This is Overwatch, but with Marvel stuff. Are they copying Overwatch? Sure. Do I care? Absolutely not. I'm so playing the hell out of this. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Overwatch was one of the more recent games that I've played. I don't play much anymore. I think that's a perfect matchup, right? Mashup.
Yeah.
All the most popular superheroes and characters that are on TV and movies right now, and one of the best games or of its type, anyways, that you can just kind of jump in and play once you learn a character. I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's going to be a huge success.
And the art style, too. Squeaks was texting me. He's like, man, every time they release a character, I'm impressed with the art style. Something about it. It's like this mix of anime and, again, that kind of a chunky Overwatch art style looks really good.
They're going to sell so much skins. What do you call those? Yeah, skins and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Squeak's already planning on that.
Downloadable content.
Better be ready. Save
DLC.
Save some of your allowance for December 9th or December 6th, guys.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, that Captain America looks so clean. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely getting that for sure. But yeah, we have the full list of everything that was announced at Gamescom over on our website, guys. Go ahead and check it out. We went over the biggest hits for us, but there's a lot of really good games announced. Dune Awakening, I think, is going to be a game I'll play a lot of, stuff like that. So, the second season of the Paramount Plus series Halo, based on the Xbox game franchise, is now available on DVD, Blu-ray, and limited edition 4K Ultra High Def Steelbook. With every episode from season 2 and nearly 2.5 hours of special features, see Master Chief, Cortana, and the other Spartans of Silver Team take on humanity's greatest threat, the Covenant. Get your DVD, Blu-ray, or limited edition 4K UHD Steelbook copy of Halo Season 2 today from Paramount Home Entertainment.
Today, actually the day we're recording, is the 85th anniversary of Marvel. And so we're going to do a top 5 MCU moments from all our favorite Marvel movies.
Yeah, instead of movies, because it's kind of hard to do movies. There are so many big movies. One of these movies has 3 solid moments in it that could easily have been on anybody's list.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's hard to, sometimes a scene can be super, emotional or super well done, but the whole movie as a whole, it doesn't make your top 5 list. Yeah. So I think it's nice to kind of pull out a single scene and say, hey, this was really, impactful or something like that.
Yeah. So let's start with you, man. Let's go ahead and go from 5 to 1. And what's your number 5?
All right. So it's the sharing of the Proud of the Infinity Stone, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, where Quinn grabs the stone. He's going to, shred to pieces, but he holds his friend's hands and they share that burden and then they all survive. And then he can actually wield the power, I think just for a brief time, but
yeah.
You're immortal. How? You said it yourself, bitch. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's good.
But it shows that Star-Lord has something more than just humanity in him. It also shows it kind of introduces us to the idea that it's not just the Tesseract. There are other Infinity Stones that are also important, which is leading, of course, to the Infinity Saga ending and stuff. Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That movie all around is so amazing. That's on my list somewhere too.
Yeah.
My number 5, it's kind of the moment that was like, oh my God, they're gonna do this, And that is at the end of Iron Man from 2008 when Nick Fury announces his Avengers Initiative and invites Tony Stark to it.
I am Iron Man. You think you're the only superhero in the world? Mr. Stark, you become part of a bigger universe. You just don't know it yet. Who the hell are you? Nick Fury, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh. I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Could you, I mean, it's amazing looking back at that time when we're like, oh, they're going to connect the movies? Wow, that's so crazy.
That was so new. Nothing ever, like, I mean, maybe there was like one movie that was hinted that, oh, well, this was actually kind of related to this book that shares with this other movie. So they're kind of connected to each other. Now it is like, no, you step from one frame to the next. These movies are intentionally connected and advertised and everything together. It's just, they changed the game when they did that.
For good or bad, the cinematic universe idea is now something that's so big part of Hollywood in general, like DC obviously trying to do stuff. And if it wasn't for Nick Fury saying like, hey, I want to invite you to the Avengers Initiative that started this imagination and everybody who watched, cinematic universe might not be a thing. So, and I mean, Samuel Jackson too, that was some good casting. I remember at the time people were like, well, hold on, Nick Fury's not black, and hold on. But the way he just commands the screen with that moment, you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna follow this guy in anything. It's so good.
Don't worry, the comic books were wrong. This is the Nick Fury Nick Fury that Stanley envisioned and imagined. It just didn't come out right in the comic books. All right, my number 4 is the when the Scarlet Witch kills the Illuminati in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh man,
that was a good scene, kind of tragic. I remember, we're meeting all these multiverse characters that we're so excited to see because finally, we get to see different versions of everybody. Yeah. And it was exciting, but then so quickly it ended when she kills them all. So it was this like kind of tossed salad of emotions. But they also did cool scenes of how she killed each one of them. So I liked it.
Wanda, Black Bolt could destroy you with one whisper from his mouth.
What mouth?
It was really fan service in the fact that we got, hey, you want to see Charles Xavier in the MCU? Here you go. Yeah. Black Bolt finally in a movie, not just the TV series, stuff like that. Mr. Fantastic as Jim Halpert, and then that's like, hey, we're going to establish that Scarlet Witch is the bad guy in this. We're going to kill all your fan casting.
Exactly. Like we could put on screen what you guys are interested in, but we're going to go ahead and clean up the mess at the same time. So we'll bring them in and kill them all at the same time.
The outrage afterwards, which is exactly what it was supposed to do. But the outrage afterwards, like, how dare you kill, Mr. Fantastic so easily? He would not die that fast. Like, well, in this case, he definitely did. He's spaghetti. Number 4, for me, we have the "We Are Groot" moment from Guardians of the Galaxy from 2014.
No, Groot! You can't. You'll die. Why are you doing this? Why?
We are Groot.
I mean, so well done, right? Yeah. I am Groot the whole time. And when it first started off, it was kind of like, it's funny, he says, I am Groot. By the end of that movie, you're like, oh, I get what he's saying. Like, it's funny how you could kind of...
We were trained for this. We watched Pokemon. That's exactly how Pokemon is. Oh my God,
John, so good.
Everything they say, they can just repeat the same sounds, but just like a dog's bark, you understand their emotional gestures and what they mean by it, depending on the scene, the setting. Yeah. What's going on. Yeah.
And then for him to say, we are Groot at the end was... the way it hits you right in the gut, right?
Yeah.
and then to follow up on that, just to kind of touch on it, in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, when we actually hear Groot say a sentence, and James Gunn clarifies, like, that's because now you understand him.
Oh, he's not saying anything different. We're starting to understand him.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
like
that.
Han Solo with Chewbacca. Yeah, like now we get what he's saying. It's not just I am Groot because we're outsiders. We're part of the family now. And it's like, James Gunn, I love you, buddy.
That is such good writing. I didn't realize that. That's so brilliant.
And he's in charge of all DC now. I'm so happy for that.
All right, my number 3 is going to be Endgame, Tony Stark's death and the whole I Love You 3000.
Yes.
I am inevitable.
And I am Iron Man.
That was just such a tearjerker. Obviously, like we talked about earlier, if you can inspire genuine emotion in a movie, or especially like in a whole theater full of moviegoers, that's success. That's a really, well written story. And just everybody in the theater was pretty much crying when they,
I remember hearing it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can't, it's hard to capture that movie again in theaters. I don't know if you could, but I've talked to Thomas about this. Like, that's one of my hype feels. If I need something to get hyped up for something, I watch the fan reaction videos for that movie. It gets me hyped up every time. And I'm sure there's a couple of the moments that are in your list that are in my list from that movie. That was a beautiful moment. And what a way to cap off 10 years of the MCU, right? My number 3 was the first time when I saw a Marvel hero movie not use punching or their abilities or whatever, and just like use intelligence in a way that I think for the Star Trek fan of me, I was like, that's good stuff. That is when Doctor Strange makes a bargain with Dormammu in 2016.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
You cannot do this forever.
Actually, I can. This is how things are now. You and me trapped in this moment endlessly.
Then you will spend eternity dying.
Yes. But everyone on Earth will live.
But you will suffer.
Pain's an old friend.
Going to Dormammu, who's clearly more powerful than him, and he says, Dormammu, I'm here to make a bargain. Dormammu kills him instantly, but he has a time gem, so he just keeps doing it. And eventually Dormammu's like, fine, I don't want to be in this prison anymore. And I'm like, that is so genius, because it's just like using a timey-wimey sci-fi to lock up a god, essentially, to what Doctor Strange can do. And when I saw that, I was like, Doctor Strange is now one of my favorite heroes, and that's one of my favorite MCU movies, because it's not just Tony Stark punching something hard or Thor throwing his hammer. It's actually using your mind, and it's how comic books would do things. Because with, decades of comic book stories, you have to get smart with your story sometimes, and that was one of them. That was so well done.
And that's why we are so well invested and big fans of the MCU, because there's been some misses here and there, but they don't go cheap. They don't cheapen it to where they end up being just the fireworks, like Fast and the Furious kind of movie. They've had sequel after sequel without becoming that, for the most part, that cash grab of, people are going to watch it so we don't have to invest in it. They do a good job really writing out the character and building the story like that, is different, keeps it interesting. And like you're saying, follows what the comic books would do. All right. My number 2 is going to be Infinity War when Thanos does the snap. I feel like that was like Game of Thrones, Ned Stark, you couldn't imagine. And it was such a huge scene. Mm-hmm. You couldn't imagine, like, wait, half of all living things just died. Like, we lost. This movie has, doesn't have that happy ending that everything's going to be okay. Oh my God. Now we got a lot of work to do at some point, but that was just a big change, I guess, in how, because like we were talking about, the movies are connected, over time. I don't think we've ever seen one. I mean, Disney was starting it all. Marvel was starting it all. We've never seen one where like the story kind of isn't complete for what we're used to anyways. So now we have to
jump done well, right? Because like we've seen Matrix 2, but it wasn't successful. It wasn't very good ending. This felt very complete. Yeah.
You kind of ended a movie on a cliffhanger expecting the sequel. Everyone's going to go watch the sequel and it's going to pick up kind of where you left off.
Right.
Or you lost and half the world died. Yeah. But that's not a satisfying end. Yeah.
What's the most iconic dusting for you in that one? What's the one that stuck with you the most?
I can't pick out a specific
Spider-Man. Spider-Man telling Tony Stark, like, I'm scared and stuff like that. Like that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't feel so good.
You're all right.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Hurry. I don't want to go. I don't want to go, sir. Please. Please, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Spider-Man, Tom Holland does such a masterful job at this, but Spider-Man, the way he's able to like be so vulnerable, like I think he might die when I watch his movies and stuff like that. Yeah. That character, it's like Batman for the DC side will always be just like the best damn character that they've got. Yeah. I don't know how they do it, and Miles does it too. Like it's amazing that they're able to duplicate it with the same name, different character. It's a really good job.
And it's a character that's diverse, and it kind of changes where he can play a man when he's in battle, and he plays a kid when you need him to be a kid. He just goes back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like that scene specifically. It's like, instead of like, oh, another guy died, it's like, oh no, this is a little boy and he's scared and he's dying.
He's scared.
And it's like, he's a superhero that we know and you relate with, and he's, saved a lot of lives, but now we're watching him, fearful of death. It's like, damn, that inspires genuine emotion.
That movie, the way that you walk out of that movie, like Star-Lord, he's a screw up. He's always been a screw up. But you're seeing him with family of screw ups. But the way he like just punches Thanos, like, why did you do that? You messed it up. You got Thanos out of this trance, and all of a sudden you messed everything up. It's like the amount of weight that's on Star-Lord's when you watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and he's a little depressed. You got to imagine that's also on top of him. Like, there's so many things on him that's like, man, he is a screw up, and he's just trying to survive.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is going to be Avengers Assemble moment from 2019's Endgame.
Avengers!
Assemble.
All the portals start opening up. You start to see the entire 10 years of MCU coming out of those portals. It is something that, like, I was interviewing Entertainment Lawyer, guys, check it out. And he was saying, like, it's really hard to make those agreements, right? You have to like license all these characters, have everybody on screen. That must have been such a complicated scene to get contracts for every actor you saw on that screen. And for them to all come out. And then finally, after 10 years, we hear Captain America say, Avengers Assemble. And it was such a mic drop, and they just start running out there. And oh man, I could barely stay sat in my seat. I was so freaking jazzed. That's such a good moment right there.
Definitely an iconic scene.
Yeah. What do you got for number 2, man?
We're at number 1.
Oh, you're number 1 already. Shoot.
Yeah. So my number 1, it's probably, now that we've talked about so many good scenes, it's hard to say it's number 1, but I rewatched it before this too. And I'm like, that is still one of my favorite scenes, like by far. Like, I think it is my number 1. But anyways, Undead Strange, Doctor Strange raising his dead corpse from the other realm or whatever, and then taming those evil spirits to become his cape.
Okay, but doesn't a version of you need to live in that universe so that you can dreamwalk into them?
Who said they had to be living?
That was just such an awesome scene. I know I'm sure it was in a comic book, and I don't know if I'd saw the What If before this.
The What If is very similar, which is very, very good when he's doing this. Yeah.
So it was just,
Damn.
I think my favorite MCU scene was that. And I know we've named so much more emotional impacting ones, but that was just a cool, like, visually scene.
Let me ask you, did you try not to pull from the same movie twice?
No.
Okay. Because I thought you were going to have my number 1, but that was a great find, John. I would never have thought about it. Great pickup.
My number 4 was the Scarlett Johansson. Oh, sorry, Scarlet Witch.
That's from the same movie. Yeah, from Doctor Strange Multiverse
when
of
she
Madness.
kills the Illuminati. Yeah. So those were both. Yeah.
Great moment. Yeah. Doctor Strange is such an amazing character. I can't wait to see them do a number 3 where he's going to be more multiversal. But yeah, I think he's going to kind of have to be one of our Tony Starks, right? One of the banners, one of the pillars of the MCU going forward. My number 1, John, is going to be Captain America wielding Mjolnir for the first time in Endgame 2019. I rewatched this scene so many times. Pure hype fuel. They teased to it in Ultron where they said, oh, can he move it or whatever? You kind of see him budget. We see Thanos about to kill Thor. And when that hammer comes across, you're not sure who it is. But then when it goes back to him, you guys, I will link to it in the description. You have to watch the YouTube video, watching the theater react to that moment. And tell me you're not ready to go run a mile. It is pure hype fuel. It's my favorite moment in all of Marvel's history.
I knew it.
Yeah, I think it's a good scene, but for some reason I'm not as big of a fan of Captain America as everybody else is.
Oh, really?
That's why I like the side series and stuff like that I haven't really watched.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like, yeah, that's cool, but like, yeah, he's Captain America. He's not like the best Avenger, but I know in the story he's supposed to be like the best Avenger, like the most American Avenger at least.
I think he's supposed to kind of be, in a lot of ways, Tony Stark is too, the most relatable because he's just a man. He is just a good person. He got some serum, but without that, he was still diving on grenades. So there's something about him, like, we're always rooting for him because he's like, hey, he's just us, but he's like the best version of us. Which is cool.
That's good.
My honorable mention I got to throw it out is actually from the newest MCU movie, and that's Wolverine throwing that mask on. I rewatched that a lot lately too.
That's true. That's good too. I guess one of them honorable mention for me is when we first see. I don't know if we first see Ultron or when we first see him and he's got that music in the background, or he's singing
Pinocchio,
the Pinocchio song. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Yeah, that's such a good scene.
What is
Ultron
that?
was such a good
Again,
character. to
Boston
come up with.
Legal. I know him as like Jonathan California or something like that from The Office. I can't remember his actual name.
Robert California.
Robert California. There it is.
Yeah.
God, what a good actor. And I really hope we get Ultron back because that hero or that villain does not go away after that. He goes into space. He ends up becoming a king, comes back.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get more Ultron. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, guys. Let us know your favorite moment from the MCU. We're going to be dropping some of these on our website. I'm sorry, on our social media. Some of these great clips and iconic moments. Celebrating Marvel all week long. And, man, it's good times. Jonathan, we're going to head to you now. You're going to be going over our watch list for September.
Yes, we got a lot to check out. Just a few movies, but several TV shows. So I'll try to go over it kind of quickly. September 4th, right around the corner, Beetlejuice is coming out. So that looks really good to me. Definitely got to check it out. If you haven't seen the original, what are you doing with your life? I just talked to a guy yesterday. From my work, and he's like, "Yeah," I was telling him, "Hey, the movie's coming out next week." He's like, "Yeah, I still haven't seen the original one." I'm like, "What? You've never seen Beetlejuice?"
I wonder how it ages for somebody who hasn't seen it before. What do you think?
Yeah, the I guess animation or CGI, and it's mostly practical effects.
Yeah, the story is such of its time. It's so 80 or like I guess early 90s. I'm not even 100% sure, but yeah, it's very unique. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it might not age that well.
I freaking love it still though.
It'll be a little too it'll be a little too silly probably. That's a little jarring in the story. I think it's great though. I really looking forward to the new one.
Back to our generation and that nostalgic thing where it's like you can't, good luck competing against what we fell in love with as a kid.
And yeah, the guy I was talking to was like 25, so
right.
And it's like, he wasn't born till it was already an old movie.
Crazy. Yeah, so he was born in 99. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. September 13th, we got Transformer 1. That's the animated Transformer movie coming out. That looks pretty darn good too. Yeah. I don't think I saw the last one or two Transformer movies that came out.
This is a totally brand new story, yeah. And it's got Chris Hemsworth playing in it too.
Yeah. And the fact that it's animated, I think it's going to be a lot better one to bring my son to because the live action ones are, live action and animation different. And he's only 3, so this kind of stuff is right up his alley. September 27th, this was a surprise when I just saw a trailer for it, and I was like, that looks really good. Megalopolis.
Oh, Jonathan.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that trailer?
I know of the trailer. Yeah, it is such a bad movie that it's like jokingly bad. Yeah.
Oh, the trailer made it look so good. It's like a Sharknado kind of thing then?
It is. No, I think it's Francis Ford Coppola that made it. He spent so much money making like basically a dream he had. It is so confusingly bad. Like literally they have to have a person who works at the theater come out and talk to the like you remember that Jurassic Park scene where he talks to himself? Yeah. They have to have somebody from the theater actually do a part of the movie like that.
Story.
Like come out, like talk to the screen back and forth. They're like, this movie might not be presentable in theaters. It's so bad. So
okay. It sounds like Vanilla Skies was like so confusing though we were too young to be watching
it. Yeah.
Okay. So just watching, it's funny you say that because just watching the trailer, I was really trying to get like, what is the basic story so I can tell you in this if you hadn't seen it before the trailer. And then like, I don't know. It's this guy's dream, pretty much his vision of a utopian future. And he's trying to build this mega city out of it and super like kind of future tech if our tech evolved differently kind of thing, whatever. But then it's like, I really can't, that's all I can kind of get out of it, but that doesn't tell much of the plot. But.
There's a few film critics have seen already who said, because it was like a Venice Films, whatever. And they were like, it's visionary. It's perfect. Most people are like, that is way too much money for hot trash. It's like very expensive trash. It's so bad. So
well,
I might watch it.
I have Movie Pass, so if I have the time, I'll just go see it for free anyways and let you know how terrible it might be.
See that poor freaking guy you just got popcorn from come out, walk in front of the things like, all right, I got to do this part. Hey, you! And do the whole acting out part.
Right.
Oh, crazy.
All right. As for TV, beginning of the month, there wasn't much that I noted worth watching, but on September 15th is the Emmy Awards, so most people probably want to check that out.
Yeah.
September 17th is a show called High Potential. Has Caitlin Olsen from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay, yeah.
It looks really good. It looks good for like, I mean, it looks relatable for like the common woman, especially housewife or whatever, but it's all about a single mom. She's, pretty young. She's, gosh, I can't remember her name on Always Sunny now. D from Always
So
Sunny.
40s.
Yeah.
Not young, but
guess.
young for us. We're like, that's not that old, guys. And I remember as a kid, I was like, oh man, your grandpa.
I'm gonna say she's 33. She's gonna appreciate that.
There we go.
No, but it looks like a relatively young single mom of 3. But she's kind of a genius, or she's like a little bit,
Oh, okay.
Sherlock Holmes, super smart kind of thing.
Nice.
And she's like a cleaning lady, cleans offices at night or whatever. And then somehow she stumbles into finds evidence of a crime and starts working with the police. It reminds me actually, now that I'm talking about it, about Monk, that show.
Yeah.
But she's like a consultant working with the police, helping solve these crimes, also balancing the life of a single mom.
Wait, she's not. This isn't a comedy.
I don't think so. Well, I think it's like comedy / drama action.
I can't imagine her doing anything serious. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I love that
she's
idea.
always
Though.
deep.
Yeah. I like to see actors kind of break into different characters and diversify their, broaden their experience and whatnot. But
That's cool. Glenn Howerton, who plays Dennis, very good dramatic actor. He did the Blackberry movie, and he's very good in it. And you're like, I still see, Dennis, but still, a hell of a good job.
Yeah. So September 18th, we have Agatha All Along comes out on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Yeah,
Can't
that
wait.
looks pretty good. It looks pretty good, but I'm trying to temper my expectations because,
Good move.
like I said, Disney Plus has not really been nailing it with their series lately.
Mhm.
Great, children's content, but when it comes to the MCU shows, I just have not been impressed yet. So, WandaVision was great. I guess that was a while ago.
Hopefully,
though.
it follows that one.
But yeah, because it should be right in the same shadow, in the same footsteps. So that comes out on September 18th. Next day, September 19th, is the Penguin series with Colin Farrell.
Yes,
I think that's on Max. I didn't put down where it's going to be at.
It is on Max.
Okay. That also looks phenomenal. Colin Farrell's an awesome actor. I'm excited to see him play this kind of different vision of the Penguin.
We're going to be covering both those on Challenge Accepted, by the way, guys. So if you
Nice.
guys want to follow us over on Challenge Accepted, poor Thomas just got done moving from one house to another, so he's exhausted today.
Bet.
Guess what, Thomas? What we're doing, and we were like, let's take it easy. So we did Fairly Odd Parents last week, and then this week we're doing Parks and Rec. We're like, let's do some softballs because we just did 3 shows a week for 6 weeks or whatever straight. We were exhausted, and then he's moving.
Yeah.
So
That's no
guess
big
what,
deal.
Thomas? We're firing it back up at the end of this month.
Yeah, Jesus.
That's a good list there, guys. So Agatha All Along, and what was the other one that we're going to be? The Penguin. We're going to be doing over on Challenge Accepted. We'll also do the premieres here on Geek Freaks. So we'll give our reviews for those, and we'll let you know what we think about them. That'll be good. Watch along with us. All right, everybody, and that is it for us today on Geek Freaks. Thank you so much for joining us. We truly appreciate it. Couple things. On our network, we have a new Challenge Accepted coming out this week for Parks and Rec. We're watching the pilot and the finale and discussing how the show has evolved over time. Later this month, we have the return of Outlast podcast for season 11. I can't believe we've been doing that thing for 11 seasons. So freaking cool. In case you missed it, Headlines has the latest in geek news with a micro podcast coming out every single day. So if you want a little bit of what's going on, that's the thing to tune into. You can subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms, including the one you're on right now, or on our social media, Reels and TikTok. We release them there as well. We've got a brand new batch of Who's Got Next Game podcast. They just finished recording them. I'm going to be editing them this week, so expect the next episode coming out next week. Those are always good. And I have 2 more interviews in the hopper as we come back from our break and get everything fired up. Fandom Portals has some amazing interviews lately, and if you liked our discussion about Marvel and especially Endgame, he has a brand new one where he's talking about Captain America, Avengers Endgame, and why they stood the test of time and became a fandom that we all still love today. Now for the favor. I would love to get some reviews, guys. We need some reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. 5 stars if you'd like. If not, that's fine. We still want that feedback. Make sure you let us know. And that goes network-wide. We want those reviews everywhere. And to grease the wheels, I mentioned Halo earlier in our sponsored ad from Paramount. Well, we're going to be giving away 5 copies of Halo on Blu-ray. That's Halo Season 2. You guys can check out the story of Master Chief and all his friends. All you have to do is send us a review that you've put on one of our podcasts. It could be Geek Freaks, it could be Trek Freaks, or Disney Mom's Gone Wrong, any one of our podcasts. Fandom Portals is a brand new show. That's a really good one to do. Send it to us and you get an entry. If you send multiple of them, you get multiple entries. And guys, we are sending out 5 copies of these amazing, beautiful Blu-rays. Please enter into that and help us out. We have a lot of stuff cooking up this month. We have a lot of stuff cooking up next month. So keep hanging out on all social medias. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye.